Cliffdale Cassettes. I don't know if anyone remembers the Cliffdale Cassettes. It was a blog that started late 2006 that I didn't really start reading until around 2008, 2009. Due to some personal things in my life, around 2012, I didn't read it as much as I used to. Then, last Saturday on a whim, I thought I'd clear up my old hard drive, sort out some files I didn't need anymore. And because I'm a bit of a hoarder, and always have been, I saved a lot of the posts on my old computer, which ended up getting on my hard drive. I read a few of them, got nostalgic, and thought I'd look it up again. But it was gone. At first I thought I just messed up the name and tried some variations. I pretty much scoured the internet and eventually found a couple of old subreddit threads and an old forum post and a Yahoo question asking about the old blog. Most people expressing that they had been fans and wondering where it had gone. One user appeared on a couple of the threads with a slight variation in names. Dahlia_2819. They always used the same expression. It looks like James went dark. James was the pen name that the author of the Cliffdale Cassettes gave himself, though I couldn't tell you if that was his real name or not. Most commenters also seemed to want to read over the old blogs again, and maybe find new ones, like myself. The Cliffdale Cassettes were, well, weird to put it bluntly. Odd little tales that I believed wholeheartedly when I first read them when I was young. I realise now that they were probably nothing more than silly little made-up stories. But they were well written and pretty fun. Reading late at night under the bed covers with a flashlight kind of stories. Anyway, sorry for that long introduction. I know when I was younger, I printed a load off and kept them in a folder and shared them with my friends. God only knows where they are now. But I'm glad I saved most of the old files to the hard drive before my computer died of death. I thought I'd read some of them out, so if anyone is looking for them, they can hear them here, as no one else seems to have come forward, or maybe no one else has any copies. So, here we are. The very first Cliffdale cassette, published November the 11th, 2016. Hi, I'm your narrator. My great-grandfather died in 2004, and while my family and I were sorting out his house and stuff, my brother and I found these old-looking suitcases that were filled with papers and, well, cassettes. The suitcases were up in his loft, and they seem old, dusty, but in pretty good condition. At the time, we just opened them, had a quick look and decided to keep them. My great-granddad used to write, and I kinda just assumed that these were things he'd done, and I wanted to look through them properly. We couldn't really see that great in the loft, see the photos. The light's not brilliant, and the floor was the kind that if you put your foot wrong, you'd go through. So we brought them down, dusted them off a little, and shoved them in my car. I kind of forgot about them for a few weeks, in a pile in the corner of my living room, until I finally found the nerve and the strength to sort through them, and well, they weren't my granddad's scribbles, or personal documents or anything. Some of it's typed, some's in handwriting that doesn't match my great-grandfather's. Some of the paper is almost disintegrating, and the cassettes, some are broken and tinted looking. Some seem to have correlating numbers, some I don't understand the filing system for. The same name appears on a lot of them. Cliffdale. Now at first I thought it was a place, but now I'm thinking it's more likely to be a name, or a surname of the guy who seems to be in most of the cassettes. I've got a hunch, but no real evidence, that he's the guy who's written the files and notes on a lot of the typed ones. These cassettes and files are about really weird things. I've looked some up, and on some cassettes things turn up. Strange stuff in history, urban legends. But most of the time nothing really seems to correlate. Now, I don't know if this is some elaborate prank or what. If my great-grandfather was still alive, I would ask him, but I've listened to a load of the tapes. There's still some left. I've tried to match them to any of the papers and battered old photographs. It's kind of become a weird part-time hobby. I've sat on these for a while, showing a few friends. My mum thinks it's all a big joke from my great-granddad. But my brother, well, he's convinced me to show them on here. Mainly because of some stuff that's happened. I haven't been too well, and my brother thought something like this would give me a bit of a direction. Something to keep doing. A mini project. What's the harm, right? I'll update soon. James. I'm going to read out a few more, get to the actual stories. If you remember the cassettes or used to be on the forum, please leave a comment. I was the hummingbird on there back in the day. It would be nice to speak to the community again, and if you don't remember, feel free to leave a comment too. Vinny TVC. Now, I don't know if this is some elaborate plank or... plank.